Welcome back to another fucking episode of Gun Daddy. I know it's been a while since I posted a nice little full-length video. I've been doing a lot of shorts, but that's been building the numbers up, and that helps. And you guys help. So don't forget to fucking like and subscribe. Hit it again. Share this. Let it hit the algorithm with all its glory. My cigar is not lit because I'm trying to cut down on that shit because I already smoke cigarettes. So we're gonna get right into this. I don't know what's going on with the government lately, but maybe you guys can tell me. Let's head on over to Arkansas.
As Mr. Huckabee Mike was just pointing out, pre-dawn raid, 10 vehicles show up, all kinds of agents come there in riot gear, immediately put tape over the doorbell camera so you can't see what's going on. 57 seconds later, there are gunshots heard, and Brian Malinowski loses his life for something that doesn't even look like there was any crime. I mean, the definition that they were functioning under was that, are you selling firearms as your principal livelihood? That was not the case. He ran the Bill and Hillary Clinton Airport. He was a respected citizen there in Little Rock. He had a hobby of selling some guns, and they come to his home unannounced, pre-dawn, looks like maybe a no-knock warrant, when they search his home. And, of course, 57 seconds this all happens. After they've been surveilling him, they could have easily showed up at his work, said, hey, we want to search your house. They could have done it in a way where you would guarantee there is no one going to get hurt. But instead they did it in the most dangerous way possible. And today we had his lawyer, Bud Cummings, former U.S. attorney, is going to be on, who did just an outstanding job in the hearing, laying out the facts and laying out how different this was from what should have been the protocol, and frankly, what were the rules? Because the other thing they didn't do is the ATF didn't wear the body cams, which is a requirement. They're supposed to be wearing those. That's their policy. Didn't wear the body cams. So the fundamental question is why? Yeah. Why did they do it this way? What were they trying to hide? What was going on? And we plan on getting to the bottom of that.
Well, let's bring in Attorney Bud Cummings. Can you add to what Chairman Jordan just gave us?
Well, first, let me tell you how appreciative I am and the Malinowski family is for Chairman Jordan's leadership on this issue. When something like this happens, you don't want it to be, it's outrageous. And the people in Little Rock and the people in Arkansas are outraged. Everybody I talk to is still talking about it 2 months later. But nationally, this is not known, and we're really thankful for this scrutiny. Hopefully, this won't be swept under the carpet. This was inexplicable. It was unreasonable. It was unjustified. This was a very well-respected person in the community who had this hobby and some other hobbies. He liked coins. He liked to collect old currency, and he liked to collect firearms, and he liked to go to gun shows. And if you've ever been to a gun show, it's a collection of people that like to collect stuff and talk about it. It's like Antique Roadshow. That's what this guy did for a hobby. And if you look at the rule that they suspected, not accused, an indictment's an accusation. This was a search warrant. They suspected that he might have crossed over this murky line that only ATF seems to know the definition of, to become a person engaged in the business of selling firearms, even though he made $260,000 a year at his day job. So
now, if we look there, the ATF has once again just seemed to fuck up, like usual. They just can't seem to help themselves. They can't seem to help but step on Americans' toes and just straight up kill Americans for no reason. This guy had a gun hobby. That's it. He had a hobby. He was a collector. He also liked to collect coins, like you heard. He collected gold and old currency and stuff like that. He was just, I imagine, infatuated with old stuff. And a gun hobby, a gun enthusiast, got killed because of it. Like, what the fuck is going on? What's going on to where the ATF... This guy already had a great job. He was apparently making like $280,000 a year. Already had a great job. And the ATF's sole reason that they were there was because they thought he was selling firearms for his main form of, currency, as how a form of work. Which was not the case. I don't know what's going on, but the ATF is fucking up big time. But why don't we take a stroll right over to, I don't know, California?
know that I'm probably going to be chatting with you in a few days as the San Diego County gun owners hold their big gun show in Escondido, California this weekend. And I just want to know from somebody who's stuck in California like me, what we're going to do about these absolutely insane rules. I guess Newsom and Democrats in Sacramento figure, since we just can't knock on your door and take your gun, we're going to price it so high that you can't buy them, you can't buy ammo for them. Oh, and we'll make it so you can't take it in to any location, because that BS rule that he signed that goes into effect in like 5 weeks in July, it's everywhere. You can't go into a grocery store, a church, nowhere with a gun. Well, what's the point of protecting yourself and others if you can't carry it anywhere in this state?
Well, we have a multi-pronged attack on that. The first and foremost important thing to do is to get the right people elected. So we vet and support people no matter what party they belong to, and make sure that they get elected into office so these horrible laws don't get proposed and passed.
What is your advice? I mean, I see lawsuits being started, and some of these lawsuits in certain states, like the one in Oregon and elsewhere, has actually worked, and courts have thrown out some of these bills and stuff. Is that the best way to approach this? Is the minute we see some of this stuff going into effect in blue states is to, how should I put it? Let's rally and circle the wagons and get like a massive collective lawsuit against that state for putting in these unconstitutional bills?
So I think litigation certainly is a way in which to prevent this from spreading. Obviously, the problem with it is a lot of times those bills, when they're signed into law, go into effect immediately. And even when you do sue the government over those, even if you seek a preliminary injunction, you don't always get those right off the bat. So there may be a time period in which that law actually is the law of the land while it's being hashed out in the courts.
I feel sorry for anyone that lives in California and is trying to be like a lawful gun owner. Like, I feel like that's almost unheard of in California, like actually being a gun owner and living in California. That's like being a gun owner living in New York or Chicago, you know. And it's like every chance. I ride the middle pretty well. Okay, I haven't voted. I didn't vote in 2016. I didn't vote in the last election. I'm voting this time though. But it seems like the fucking Democrats are the ones who are constantly trying to fucking like come at us. People who are legally going to the fucking gun stores and getting background checks and going and doing everything we can to be legal. You know? Like I said in one of my short, you know, they're sitting there talking about how you won't be able to carry a firearm in church or a grocery store or any of these places, even if it's concealed. Like you won't be allowed to carry these in these places. Here in Ohio, I talked about it in one of my shorts. We're constitutional carry now. And funny enough, I just started noticing on a lot of the stores here, they removed the, you know, this is a gun-free zone, blah, 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 blah. They removed that stuff. And now it just says, you know, you can bring your firearm in here, but it needs to be concealed. It needs to be concealed. Like, what? It's funny to me because California and like a lot of places like that, like California and New York are always glamorized. Well, they used to be. Now that we know the truth, they're not. But they used to be like really glamorized and like, oh, you know, come to the Big Apple, blah blah blah. You know, this look at all these lights and screens everywhere. You know, come to California where all the fucking celebrities and rich people live. You know, and all this shit. But we now know that they're shitholes. Speaking of New York, let's take a trip to New York.
Anyone want to take a wild guess what the political leaders of New York, you know, the state where they make all their citizens victims for their safety, decided to do next? If you said ban body armor, you'd be right.
And as we marked 2 years since the Buffalo mass shooting, the issue of body armor has been brought up once again. It, of course, is something the shooter wore on that fateful day.
In Congress, it is now a reintroduction of a reintroduction. The Aaron Salter Jr. Responsible Body Armor Possession Act, as introduced by Representative Grace Meng of Queens and co-sponsored by newly sworn-in Congressman Tim Kennedy, who spoke on the House floor yesterday of the actions of the posthumously promoted Lieutenant Aaron Salter.
He died a hero, delaying the shooter and giving more people precious seconds to escape. Lieutenant Salter didn't hesitate, but because of the shooter's body armor, he was unharmed and fired back, killing Lieutenant Salter.
The proposed congressional bill would prevent the sale, transfer, or possession of enhanced body armor, called Level 3, and able to stop a 7.62 round with exemptions for law enforcement and the military. The state of New York is one of few which also restricts body armor, but it was pointed out that the 5/14 shooter got his body armor elsewhere.
I'm so tired of this goofy shit.
Now, we are fed up too, and we are tired of the shit too, Mr. Noir. And if you guys want to watch the rest of that video, I'll put it down in the description. I'll link his video. Colin Noir makes some absolutely amazing videos. That's where I get my inspiration from. I get inspiration from him and the likes of Brandon Herrera and Donut Operator, and just working in the field that I work in. I get inspiration wanting to make these videos for you guys. But as you can see, it's almost like the government, most of the government has went crazy. And they just keep fucking with us. The law-abiding the law-abiding citizens. I don't know. I was thinking about getting some tax stamps to do stuff, you know, and modify some weapons. But now I think I'm gonna step back. I'm not even gonna mess with stuff, because I don't want the government stepping on my toes for me being legal and me doing what I'm supposed to do, and what we're all supposed to do as law-abiding citizens. How can you sit there and you know, lay your head on a bed and secure your house for, you know, criminals, but then it's not criminals breaking into your house, it's the government, and then they ruin your life? I mean, that's it for this one, guys. Comment down below as much as you want. Like I said, subscribe, share, like this damn video, get it out there to the masses if you could. I appreciate all the followers and subscribers that keep coming in. I can't thank you guys enough. But this has been another fucking episode of Gun Daddy. Peace out, fucking Girl Scouts.